and we'll open up our ears to our new theme song. Welcome to ABC Yoga. I'm Amy. My husband Bill in the background. Thank you for that theme song. And we may see an occasional cat. So we're going to start this morning in child's pose. And as I was losing sleep earlier this week, I found a great poem or a great quote that said, "No, we don't need more sleep. It's our souls that are tired, not our bodies. We need nature. We need magic. We need adventure. We need freedom. We need truth. We need stillness. We don't need more sleep. We need to wake up and live." So just letting that sink in this morning as we settle onto our mats, as we come into our bodies, as we connect with our breath, and just allow those bones to feel a little heavier. Allowing yourself to settle a little deeper onto your mats. And so let's take one full breath in through the nose, open up the mouth, gently sigh it out. We'll gently rock the forehead side to side. And let's take a walk with our hands to the right side of our mats. Take the left hand on top of the right. Feel that stretch on the left side of the body. Let's take another breath in and gently sigh it out. One more full inhale. Nice, long, gentle exhale. And we'll take a walk on the opposite side. And that right hand on top of the left. Feeling the stretch on that right side body. Full breath in. Sigh it out. One more inhale. We let that go. And taking a walk back to the center. We'll gently transition onto our hands and knees. We'll rock our hips side to side. And last week we were coming back to the basics. And this morning, wanted to focus a lot on balance. And not only the balancing in the different postures that we go throughout class, but how we balance our life when we're on planes and back to that busy world. So coming onto our mats, press your shins into the earth, spread the fingers wide. Let's exhale all the air out, crown the head towards the floor, rounding that back body. Now lift that back body up like an angry cat. Fan those ribs, feel the toenails. And on that next inhale, our heart reaches forward, our sits bones up high, eyes up towards the sky, open up those collarbones. Then we draw that chin in, crown of the head towards the floor, concave that belly, sip in the inhale, open up the collarbones, eyes high. We exhale. Navel to the spine, two more. Let's take it slowly, inhale. We exhale. Beautiful. One more breath in. Exhale the air completely. Then walk those knees to the center line. Working on our balance, we extend that right leg, toes to the floor, then lift the heel, the height of our hips, and then we'll bend that knee. Now the foot is going to reach high, warming up those hamstrings. We're pulsing. Equally pressing the palms into the earth for 3, 2, 1, then extend that right leg and then take that left hand forward, left thumb up towards the sky. Back of the neck lengthens. Look a couple of feet in front of you. That right foot is flexed. We're holding here, connecting with that breath. Beautiful. And then we draw that elbow in towards our knee. That's Hannah screaming in the background. Exhale. 3 more like that. We breathe in. Maybe they connect. Slowly exhale. So slowing down this movement. 2 more. We breathe in. We breathe out. This last one we hold. Elbow to knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. We lengthen one last time. Nice. And then take the hand and knee to the floor. We bump those hips side to side. We give our wrists a little bit of a break. Then we hug those knees in. Extend that left leg. And lift the heel the height of our hips. Just finding that balance here. Then we bend the knee. Gently pulse. Foot is reaching high. Not yet.
I can do it.
You're in charge of you. We're breathing, we're pulsing for 3, 2, on 1. Just unhinge that knee. And then we'll find that right hand, thumb high. So extending, straightening through that arm. You're really pressing that right shin into the earth. Find that balance. Then we hug the elbow in towards our knee. Beautiful. And then we lengthen. Slowing it down, 4 more. Take your time, maybe they connect. And then you find that full extension. Last 3. We're breathing. Elbow in towards our knee. We lengthen. This last one we hold. 4, 3, 2, on 1. We extend. Nice. Now lower the hand and knee to the floor. Let's bump those hips side to side one more time. Then curl those toes under, lift those sits bones, and then walk those feet out into your downward dog. So we pedal out those feet, opening up the arches, connecting with that breath. Just shake that head side to side. And then, like that quote in the morning that I just read, we find that stillness. In our yoga practice, there's a lot of magic as we open up the body, allowing the body to heal. Shake out that head side to side. And keep the hands where they are. We'll walk our toes up to the heel of our hands. And give yourself at least hips distance, maybe even wider. A slight bend in the knees and just hinge forward. So allowing, if the hands come to the floor, just feel that support. You can come onto your finger pads, always use a brick, but gradually taking more weight into the balls of the feet as we open up the back body, back of the knees. Again, firing those hamstrings. And gently sway side to side. So maybe you're finding opposite elbows. 2 more breaths here. And then we'll find that stillness again. We'll heel toe our feet together and find that halfway lift. Reach the heart forward, open up those collarbones. You can soften through those knees. On an exhale, crown the head towards the floor. 3 more like that. We find that halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine. Gorgeous. Exhale. Surrender. We let go. Last 2. We lengthen. Enjoying our breath. Soften. Crown of the head towards the floor. Last one. Halfway lift. Exhale. We fold. Inhale. We rise. And we'll bring our hands to our heart center, pausing here for just a moment. Our eyes are soft or closed. So maybe inviting more balance today into your life, into our practice. We'll flutter our eyelids open as we begin to flow. We take a full breath in. We melt forward to our Uttanasana. We find that halfway lift. And then step into our high plank, finding our balance. You can always soften those knees to the earth, but let's lift that back body a little higher. Our shoulders are balanced over our wrists, coming onto the balls of our feet. Pitch your heart a couple inches further, and then we'll bend those elbows and slowly come all the way down. Take your time, and we'll find our way into Sphinx pose. So we untuck our toes, we come onto our forearms. Now engage that core. And imagine we have that black Sharpie tucked under our chin. We're just drawing a black line to our right shoulder. Maybe gaze over and find that right heel. And then that Sharpie is coming to the other side to that left shoulder. Maybe you can peek and find that left heel. So one more each side. We're breathing, slowly moving our chin without our body. And then exhale to the other side. Gorgeous. We come back to neutral and just lower your chest to the floor. Your hands are in line with your chest. We tuck our toes under. We press through high plank. Nice. Into our downward dog. Please lift that right leg. Bend the knees, stack the hips. And let's lubricate those hip joints. So take that knee in, out, and around. Slowing it down. Engaging those arm muscles. Can you straighten through the elbows? Relax the head, maybe shake it out. And let's change direction. Just stirring up that pot. Finding the balance in this three-legged downward dog. Now please extend that right leg. We'll step it forward into our warrior one. Left heel on the floor and rise. Take your time. And we'll slowly lower the hands to the floor. Step that right leg back. Just pause for a moment. Find that balance in your high plank. Option to go low plank or all the way to the floor. Maybe a cobra or an upward dog. Beautiful. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Now that left leg lifts. We bend the knee. And we slowly stir the pot. So the knee comes in, out, and around. Slowing it down. That right heel may touch the floor, or we're gradually encouraging that heel to come a little closer to the mat. And let's stir the pot in the other direction. Nice wide circles with the knee. Loosening that hip joint from all the sitting. Beautiful. Stir that pot one last time. And then we'll step that leg forward. Warrior one. Right heel on the floor. Be sipping that inhale. So take your time. Then lower those hands down. That left leg back. We pause for a moment in that balanced position in our high plank. Gorgeous. Maybe lift that back body to low plank or all the way down. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog will meet. Slow it down. Connect with that breath. The magic of our yoga practice. Coming into our body. Out of that thinking, judging, planning mind. Finding more space in the inner body. Please take one more in breath. We let that go. Bend the knees. Walk, maybe jump to the top of the mat. Take it slowly. It's early. Find that halfway lift. And we fold. We ride that breath up. And let's just cactus our hands this time. Lift our chin. Let that head be nice and loose. Our feet are rooted. Then we extend our hands high. And swan dive forward. Take your time. Halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. We move from high to low plank. Take your time. A cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Our right leg lifts. We find our warrior one. Sip in that inhalation. Then we interlace those hands behind the back body. Notice which thumb's on top, but open up those palms and we'll slide those hands down the thigh. Do a very small movement, That right knee is still tracking over the right ankle. Our heart is lifted. If this hurts your neck, just look straight ahead. Then we'll take our eyes forward and slowly descend the crown of the head and the inside of that front foot. Taking those arms away from the back body. Now, mindfully spread those toes. Notice if they're gripping. Shake out that head. We're finding the balance here. Very slow movements here. Our heart is below our, is lower. So just take your time. And we have 2 Sharpies on the back of our buns. We want to steer them to the back of the mat. And then settle that right knee over the right ankle one more time as we draw the hands a little further away from the back body. So we root to rise. Slowly take your time. Release your hands, beautiful. Arms high. And then we'll settle into our vinyasa. So take your time, moving from high plank to low plank. You can always drop those knees. Again, building our strength, breath by breath. A cobra or up dog, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Now the left leg lifts. We step it forward into our warrior 1 on this side. Root to rise. Then we take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Notice if you can take that opposite thumb on top, then open up the palms. We gently slide the hands down the back of the thigh. Looking straight ahead if you have tension in the head or neck, or maybe take the eyes a little higher. We settle into our hips, allow that left knee to come over the left ankle. Can you feel the foundation of the right edge of your foot rooting you? Beautiful. One more breath here. Then take your eyes eye level and we'll slowly descend, finding the balance in this posture. Crown of the head towards the floor. We take our hands away from the back body. So if this is challenging with your shoulders, I invite you to take a strap, a hand towel, to just give your hands just a little extra movement, some stability to explore the posture a little deeper, a little safer. And we have those Sharpies on the back of our buns that we steer towards the back of our mat as we settle that left knee over the left ankle. Feeling all 10 toes root, please take one more breath in. We let that go. From the rootedness, we rise, we extend those arms, just taking our time, moving into the postures this morning. And then we find our vinyasa, hands down, that left leg back, high plank to low. Cobra or up dog. Nice, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Lifting through those sits bones. Shake out that head. Imagine that spine is lengthening, so we soften those knees slightly, press our chest closer to the thighs, then slowly draw those heels down towards the mat. Please take one more inhale. We let that go completely. Bend the knees, step, maybe jump to the top, halfway lift. Let's fold and rise. Take your time. And we'll swan dive forward. Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Beautiful. We jump or just step those feet back. High plank to low. A cobra or up dog. Nice, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. A little faster this time, that right leg lifts. We find warrior 1. We rise and take those hands behind the back body. We lift our hearts and crown the head towards the inside of that front foot. Draw the hands away from the back body. We're in our silver surfer position. Please take one more inhale. We let that go. Take your time to slowly rise. We release the hands and let's open into warrior 2. We soften those shoulders away from our ears, hug the muscles to the bones. Let's sit a little deeper, watching that right knee come towards the right pinky toe. That navel is drawn in and up towards the spine. Let's settle a little deeper. Nice. Then hands to the floor. Right leg back. Pause for just a moment. High to low plank. A cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. The left leg lifts. We find warrior one. Right heel on the mat and rise. Take your time. Hands behind the back body, that uncomfortable thumb on top. We lift our hearts and slowly descend. Take your time, release the head. Now draw the hands away from the back body. Couple breaths here. The feet are your foundation. One last inhale. Exhale it completely. Again, take your time. Head was below our heart as we rise. Lines of energy out through those fingertips. Then we open into warrior two. So settle into those hips, that left knee towards the left pinky toe. The shoulders are drawing in the opposite direction of our ears. And maybe take a soft eye gaze over those left fingers. Hug the muscles to the bones. Please take one more inhale. Now hands to the mat. Left leg back. High to low. You can modify, it doesn't matter. A cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Rooting our hands and feet equally in this position. This is a resting position, but if it's been a while with your yoga practice, it takes time to build that muscle strength, that muscle memory. So be gentle with yourself. Please take one more in-breath. We let that go completely. We bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat, halfway lift. We fold and we settle into that chair and extend those arms. So noticing if your hands are in front of you, let's lift them a little higher. Energetically, we squeeze that imaginary block that zips up our core. Our tail is tucked under and we sit a little deeper. So look straight ahead. Can you see all 10 toes? We're going to squeeze those knees again together and lift those heels. Find the balance. So if you're by a wall and balance is compromised, you can hang on. Again, we're building those memories, those lines in our body. 2 more breaths here. Lift those heels a little higher. Then drop the heels. We'll take our hands to our heart center as we fold. Beautiful. We find that halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing. So we're going to add on to that sequence one more time. The right leg lifts. Warrior one. We rise. Then take those hands behind the back body. We lift our hearts and silver surfer. Crown of the head on the inside of that front foot. We take one breath in. We take one breath out. We inhale back through warrior one. We open into warrior two. Now let's reverse. Right hand high. And now we'll take that forearm on the thigh, left arm up and over. So we're going to move between those postures. So we inhale, we reverse, fan those right ribs, then forearm to the thigh, left arm high. 3 more like that. We're breathing, we're opening up the body. Then we're softening and extending. Or just 2 more. Inhale. Forearm to the floor, exhale. Last time we breathe in, we lift. Gorgeous. Exhale, soften and extend. Steady breathing. Pause here. Back to warrior two. And we'll cycle through our vinyasa. Hands to the floor. Move from high to low plank or drop those knees. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing. Now let's lift that left leg high. We find our warrior one. Root to rise. Hands behind the back body. We lift our heart. And we find our silver surfer, crown of the head on the inside of the front foot. So spread those toes, steer those hips towards the back of the mat. Can you draw the hands a little further away from the back body? Please take one more inhale. We complete that exhale. Then take your time back through warrior one. And then we open into warrior two. So let's settle into the posture first. Open up those collarbones. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. We hug those muscles to the bones. Now we'll reverse our warrior. We fan those ribs wide. Then take the forearm on the thigh, right arm up and over. That line of energy from the outer edge of the foot through the fingers. So let's just move through those postures a couple of times. We reverse, then we settle in, lines of energy out through the fingertips. 3 more, we're breathing. Opening, exhaling, softening, releasing. 2 more. Exhale down. This last one will reverse. And we'll settle that forearm on the thigh. Just pause here. Again, noticing what's touching the mat. And let's just take that left forearm off the thigh. Use that core. Gorgeous. Back through warrior two. And hands to the floor. Left leg back, high to low. Cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Let's pause and breathe. So the hardest part of our yoga practice is getting onto our mats. So if you showed up, you already get a gold yoga star.
Didn't know you were giving those out.
I'm giving them out. So we're going to keep our hands where they are. We're working on balance today. We're going to walk our feet a little closer towards our hands into that downward puppy pose. And then we'll walk our feet in towards one another. So again, this could be a wonderful balanced position. You can bend your knees, just drop your head. Otherwise, that right leg lifts. We bend the knee, stack the hips. You can stay here. We're working on our balance. Come onto the left finger pads. Maybe you lift that left hand, find the balance here. For some of you, you reach for that right heel. So if you fall, you just come back into it. It's yoga practice. So finding my foot in space. There we go. We find that heel. Breathe in. And we slowly lower it down into that puppy pose. Bend those knees as much as you need to. Maybe it's a challenge. You find a brick. You've got all those different levels. So we'll take that last side. So from that truncated downward dog, we walk our toes in. A great pose right here to stop and explore. Or we lift the left leg, stack the hips. Again, a great balance pose right here. All different levels. Maybe you come onto your finger pads, or you're just taking that right hand off the floor. For some of you, finding that heel, finding that foot in space. You take your time. 2 more breaths. Last full inhale. Let's let it all go and settle into our child's pose. First half of the class is done. Drop those hips. Extend those arms. Forehead to the mat. We slow down that breath. Noticing that energy, prana, life force,
So we stir up that energy in the body. I always imagine we're clearing those cobwebs. Life gets busy. We don't have time to slow down to find that stillness. So you just come back and start again. The body remembers. Take a few more breaths here. Just let everything go. One more in breath. Nice long exhale. And we'll transition onto our hands and knees. Lift those sits bones. Walk our hands and feet towards one another. Deep bend in those knees. Shake out that head. And slowly rise. Toes are spread wide. Let's just roll those shoulders up and back. Take your time. Sweating. You're working hard, and we'll reverse those shoulders forward. Beautiful. One more breath here. Heel toe those feet together. And we're going to start in the center of our mat, and we're going to take another balance in warrior 3, but we're going to start from a standing position. So we're going to take our hands to our heart center, a slight bend in that right knee, and just step that left leg a couple feet behind you. You're looking straight ahead, not down. Take a deeper bend in that right knee, and like a lever, we're going to lift the left foot a little bit, soften into that right knee a little more. We lift, soften, lift, soften. It does not matter how high that left leg goes, but we're just working on that balance. And we're going to slowly rise and take a bend in that left knee. Nice. And then unhinge that knee, looking straight ahead. So we're going to move between those positions. So you can always pause here, just holding the balance with a bent left knee, or we slowly pitch forward. Don't look down, look straight ahead. Extend that left leg, taking our time. We engage that core as we bend the knee to a standing position. Nice. Then option to unhinge that knee. Couple more times here. Again, inviting you to pause at any time, building that ankle strength, or we engage that core. We find our way through warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Our core engages as we bend that knee and maybe unhinge it. Let's take one more on this side. You can feel that strength in that right ankle. Pause at any time, look straight ahead, pitch your heart forward, reach through that heel. Nice. Now we bend that knee one last time, unhinge that leg, maybe pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Lower that leg down. Just shake out that energy. And we're going to come to the other side. So starting off slow, hands at our heart center. I take a slight bend in that left knee and just step that right leg behind you. You look straight ahead, not down. So we move sequentially by a slight bend in that left knee. You lift that right leg a little higher. Maybe take a little deeper bend. That right leg lifts a little higher. The leg can stay wherever you find that resistance. Maybe you lift it all the way up. You lower those hip points so they're equal. Look straight ahead. And then we'll slowly take a bend in that right knee. We'll find the balance here. We're looking straight ahead and maybe unhinge that leg. We take a bend in the knee again. Maybe you connect the foot in, finding a better foundation here, or we'll take that leg behind you. We soften through that left knee, honor those tight hamstrings, engage that core, we bend that knee, and unhinge. We flex those toes. We bend, take the leg behind you, just a couple more times. So I'm just guiding you. You can pause at any time. We unhinge the leg. One last time, working on our balance this morning. That right leg extends behind you. And then we'll slowly lift that knee, unhinge the foot, and maybe pulse. 5, 4, 3. Are you breathing? 2, on 1. Lower that leg down. And we'll release the hands and let's just twist out that spine. Nice for 3, for 2, and 1. We open up those hands. Heel toe those feet together. And we'll find our tree position this morning. We have 3 options. We can take our traditional tree, avoiding the knee, inviting you to use the wall at any time. The Bikram version, the heel towards the left hip point. You slowly allow that knee to come towards the floor. You can bring one or both hands to your heart, or figure 4, right ankle on top of that left knee. And you settle into those hips, taking your time. So again, we showed up on our mats this morning. Get that yoga gold star. Doesn't matter what the postures look like. We come back to the basics. We have our beginner's mind. We're thankful for this vessel that holds our organs together, allows us to do all kinds of amazing things. And let's slowly come up, whatever position you're in. Let's release our foot to the floor and let's just wring out our spine one more time. Feeling that breath in the body. And let's come to the other side. We heel toe those feet together. That traditional tree, the Bikram version. I'm exploring figure 4 this morning. This is a great posture right here. You don't have to go any further, taking the ankle on the opposite thigh, or we slowly descend. Building that ankle strength, eyes eye level. Where your eyes go, energy flows. Take your time. We take 2 more breaths here. Beautiful stuff. 1 more inhale. And then slowly come back. All the way up. Release the foot. We'll wring out the spine. And since it's all about balancing this morning, we'll take 1 more standing balancing pose this morning. We find that dancer position. So right elbow, right hip. We bend the knee, find the ankle. And this is a great balance right here. We extend the left hand. You don't have to go any further. Just like we did in Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, I take a slight bend in that left knee and we pitch the heart forward. You take it slowly. So the hand reaches forward, the leg maybe goes a little higher. You reach and kick. Reach and kick. When you find that resistance, you just pause. Look straight ahead. Breathing, those toes are rooting you down. 2 more breaths. Last full inhale. Use that breath to come all the way up. And we'll just release the foot, hands to our heart center, pause and breathe. Slowing it all down. And we'll come to the other side. So the left elbow out. You lift the left knee, find an inner arch of the feet, hug those knees in. Great to stay here. Maybe you extend that right hand. It's
perfect place to stop for your balance. Or we kick and reach. Look straight ahead. Soften through that right knee. Take your time. We're in no hurry to get any place. So always stressing there's no perfect pose. There's only safe, healthy poses wherever your body is. We're still breathing. Gorgeous. One more breath in. Ride that inhale. Release. And let's cycle through a vinyasa. A full breath in. We melt forward. We find that halfway lift. We step or jump those feet back. High plank to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Now let's take our knees down. Maybe roll up that mat a little bit. Finding our camels this morning. So let's start by tucking, we'll do two, we usually do two. We start by tucking those toes under. Looking straight ahead, our hands are on our hips, and we hug those elbows in. So keeping those floating ribs in, connecting with that core. This is a perfect place to stop for your camel. Or we press our hips a little further. We find that bow-like shape in our back body. Maybe taking your eyes high, or maybe reaching for those heels. Let go of any tension in the head or neck. The key is that consistent rhythmic breathing. So when you're holding that breath, you've gone too far. We're removing those cobwebs, more space in the inner body. Please take one more breath in, let that go. If you reach for your heels, safely take the hands on your hips. We come all the way up and we settle our buns on those heels, opening up the arches of the feet. Interlace our fingers and find the infinity. Lubricating the hips. And then we'll change direction. Nice, let's shake that out. Maybe spread those toes out as we go. One more arm position. So we're just going to turn our wrists towards the edge of your mat and your fingers towards your knees. So if this is challenging, you just bring those hands closer towards your toes. So just a few more breaths here. Opening up the fascia on our feet. Gorgeous. Let's turn our fingers back towards the front of the mat. Pound out the tops of the feet. Get that energy flowing. And we'll take one more Ustrasana. So the shins root, we come to that standing position. Hands on your hips. Hip points towards the front of your space. You can also always do this in front of a wall, which is a great support to use the resistance of the wall. We hug those elbows in. So imagine that bow shape in your body. So we visualize as well in our yoga practice. Maybe you close your eyes and just imagine that shape, or you go a little further. So I always like to mix up sides. So if you always reach for the right heel, maybe reach for the left heel first. Open up the throat, open up the collarbones. I should say relax the throat. We find that breath. Eyes are bright. One more full inhale. We let that go. We take our hands on our hips, come all the way up. And let's just take our hands on the floor. Just take a few hip bumps side to side. And if you curled up your mat, extend that mat. We'll take that left hand to the center of the mat. We inhale that right hand and we'll thread the needle. So scoop that arm under, that right ear to the floor. Come onto the finger pads of the left hand. Relax the jaw.
Can you feel the fingernails on the right hand? Please take one more breath in. We let that go completely. Then ride that hand high and take it down to the mat. We'll bump those hips side to side. Last side, that right hand in the center of the mat, the left hand extends, and we thread the needle. Left ear down, maybe walk that right hand to the corner of your mat. Gaze under that right armpit, a nice soft gaze. 2 more breaths. One final inhale. We let that go. We extend that left hand and just take it down to the mat. We'll cross our ankles. Now, if you have a brick, let's take that brick. Or we can just do this with our imaginary brick. So coming on our back body, let's squeeze the brick between our ankles. And taking the palms towards the floor. Just take a moment here, feel that back body. Straightening through those legs as best as you can. And we'll take our hands towards the brick on an inhale, and we descend the brick overhead and our heels to the floor. On an inhale, we're going to exchange. Hug the brick and slowly descend. Working on the core, we inhale. So we slow this down, bend those knees if you need to. We're listening to the signals of our body. So sharp pain, we stop immediately. If you're struggling holding that breath, you modify. So when we get injured in whatever we're doing, we're not going to come back. But we're usually not listening to the ego. So the beauty again of a Zoom practice, there's no comparison. It's whatever you can do at this moment. We find that balance in our life. Let's take one more cycle here. So I'm just going to reach for the brick, heels down, just release the brick, and let's bend those knees and give ourselves that maybe first hug of the day. Gently rock side to side. And just pausing here in stillness as you hug those knees a little closer. Try to take as much, or try to allow as much spine as possible to connect with the floor. We draw our shoulders away from our ears. Just rock your head side to side. And then we'll cactus those hands out and just drop your knees to the right. Squeeze that imaginary brick between your knees. We engage the core. And after a few breaths, maybe you take your gaze over the opposite shoulder. If the knees don't hit the floor, support them with a brick. Maybe a cushion. So whatever we have around our house, we can use. We don't need to have all those yoga props. We can modify with books, bolsters, cushions, robes, robe ties, whatever you have. So we'll draw those knees back, and please take them in the opposite direction. Take your time. Squeeze that imaginary brick, and maybe take your gaze over the opposite shoulder. Let's lick our lips. Swallow a few times. And we'll draw those knees back to center, and we're going to rock that back body. So 3 or 4 rocks. We'll cross our ankles and step into our downward dog. And we'll take that right leg high and step the right foot towards the right hand. Drop the left knee down, finding our way into lizard. straightening through those elbows, or again, you can find your way onto a brick. Just melt into those hips, look straight ahead. And then from here, we'll just heel toe our feet across to the other side of the mat, finding our way into our pigeon. So settling in, drop your hands forward. So about 30 seconds here. Forehead on the brick or on the back of your hands. If you have knee challenges in this position, you take that figure 4 we did standing on the back body. Just cross that ankle over the left knee. That protects the knee. Let's take 2 more cycles of breath here. Full inhale. Full exhale. 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. We lift our heart, take weight into that right hip, and we'll just cross that left knee, or that left foot over the right knee. Modification is just extending that right leg. So let me face the camera here. So the right hand lifts and take the elbow outside that knee and we'll twist. So we breathe in and we twist. Bill is modifying, flexing those toes. Inhale, exhale. 1 more breath here. We exhale and we take a counter twist in the other direction. And just find your way into downward dog. You can cycle through a vinyasa. And we'll take the other side, the left leg lifts, and we step it into lizard. So left foot on a 45-degree angle, outside the left hand, drop into the hips, and then take that knee to the earth, untuck the toes. Straightening through those arms, using the support of a brick. Look straight ahead, soften the shoulders. Then we heel toe that feet across, finding our way into the pigeon. So left knee towards the left thumb, right leg extends. You take those hands forward, forehead to the back of your hands. And moving from the crown of your head towards the toes. Take a quick body scan. We relax our face, we soften our tongue. Notice where those shoulders are. We take them in the opposite direction of our ears. Maybe your forearms are connected to the floor. Your chest is on that left leg. We soften that right hip point a little closer to the floor. Couple more breaths. 1 more inhale. We let that go completely. Now we lift our heart. We take weight into that left hip and we take that right foot up and over towards that left leg, or you modify and extend that bottom leg, all face you. Find those hip points, those sits bones, I should say. The left hand lifts and we bend the elbow outside the knee and we just twist. So we lift and twist. Flex those toes, inhale, lift and twist. Soften the jaw, inhale. And we twist and take a counter twist in the opposite direction. And just extend those legs. And we'll take 1 more posture here. Paschimottanasana. Root from those sits bones, full breath in. And forward fold. So soften those knees, nice long spine. We find our ankles, our heels, our toes. Just surrender that front body. Feel that back body. As you breathe, focusing the breath on the back. Let go of any tension in the head or neck. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Working on that equal breath count for 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. One more breath here. We exhale it out. Lift your heart, extend those arms, and slowly allow that back body to connect all the way down. We take up some space. We're gonna squeeze everything for 5. Hands and toes are squeezing for 4. Squeeze that face for 3, 2. Let everything go on 1. Slowly add some movement to your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms up overhead and gently slide out. Hug those knees back in towards your chest. Maybe draw your forehead towards your knees. And we'll allow those knees to fall to either side of the mat. Staying right there, or slowly rising to a comfortable seated position, eyes soft or closed. Feeling those sits bones, taking your hands at your heart center. No, we don't need more sleep. It's our souls that are tired, not our bodies. We need nature. We need magic. We need adventure. We need freedom. We need truth. We need stillness. We don't need more sleep. We need to wake up and live. So bringing your hands at your heart center, let's bow our forehead to the tips of our fingers. Just expressing some internal gratitude for showing up this morning. Opening up your body, opening up your breath, opening up our souls. So inviting you to join your voice to seal class off with one beautiful Om. So please sit in the inhalation. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within all of you. Thank you for sharing your practice this morning. Namaste. Thank you for the theme song, Buck.
Sure.
We ended right on time. Thank you for showing up. Wishing you all a beautiful day. Wow, I'm a sweaty Betty here. So thank you all for joining. I missed you on Tuesday. If you can unmute. Thank you. Feedback's always welcome. It's right around the corner, and you ladies are beautiful.
You
Thanks,
are
Amy.
too.
Thanks.
Thank you.